Hello, this is Greg Ford on a Tex Avery masterpiece called Porky's Preview, which is absolutely at the top of a short list of films that you might say constitutes a subgenre unto itself, the subgenre being the cartoon within the cartoon. It's an odd form of a different order entirely of the type of thing you'd see in the silent days with Max Fleischer drawing Coco the Clown, and then the clown would come to life in the live-action world, and it would be magical and delightful. This is a story idea where the cartoon character himself, in this case Porky Pig, animates his own cartoon within the cartoon and allows the director, Avery, to partake of all sorts of different levels of abstraction, but also self-satire, self-parody, and even rather flagrant jokes on the audience. Now, one thing about Tex Avery's cartoons, if you know them and remember, say, his MGM Wolf character whose body would briefly explode in takes and then come right back together and the cartoon will go on as before, is the sometimes subversive nature of his direction. Here we have the very calm, funny animal thing, and then in the middle of this, a subversive gag where the guy, ticket taker, rips the guy's hand off instead of trying the ticket. And then we go right back to the sweet little gag involving the lightning bug usher. Now, coming up is a skunk and a skunk gag involving a gas mask that comes off as somewhat tonally incongruous. But one of the curious things is the skunk's voice and the way he sort of confides with the audience. I mean, that's really a Bugs Bunny voice and attitude that Avery's experimenting with here.
Tough. All I got is 1 cent. Get it? Let's see. There ought to be some way of getting into this joint. Uh-oh.
Now, here's the beamishly proud Porky with his artist humility mixed with a lame kind of false modesty, introducing his labor of love. And this is what it feels like in a pitch meeting, you know. But shucks, it ain't nothing, because I'm an artist. But nothing can prepare the audience for the shock effect of the suddenly nearly all-white screen, the degraded drawing, and the stick figure representations. And of course, the composer, Carl Stalling, goes right along with it, doing an off-key, broken record version of the Looney Tunes title music, The Merry-Go-Round Broke Down. And it's as shocking as everything else. Now this, here it comes. Well, there's Porky's vision of himself. There's his jokes, you see, very self-conscious. Draft card number, funny. He thinks. He's 7 years old in the second grade in this, apparently. This crazy orchestration that Stalling did is just the beginning. I mean, he uses orchestrations of all the standard tunes he uses in the films. Like here's Parade of the Animals, but you'll later hear a slightly screwed up version of, with kazoos, of Frat, and California, Here I Come, and The Old Gray Mare and Aloha Oi, and all the usual suspects, the Latin Quarter, but none of the newfound amateurishness that matches the drawings. So Stalling is really being as self-parodic as Avery is here. Here's California, Here We Come. It took this cartoon, along with a bunch of other Avery cartoons, to what was then Yugoslavia and what was then the Soviet Union. But first of all, let me tell you, the cartoon killed. It killed. They'd never seen anything by Avery before, and believe me, it was huge. And I had this crazy notion that they'd like this one because it was abstract, and some of the Russian cartoons back then were more abstract, and the Zagreb cartoons were more abstract. But they quite correctly said no. They said this is personality animation, just as all of Avery's cartoons are some form of personality animation. It's just that the genius of this cartoon is that the personality, the 7.5-year-old Porky squirming in his chair, struggling with his drawing, is implied off-screen. It's off-screen personality animation. And it was an excellent observation, and I've never forgotten it. Sometimes the jokes are very similar to the ones Avery did himself, like the endless thing about Bing Crosby's horse being laid at Santa Anita. Now, the series of dances. This is one of the few cartoons I can think of with full frontal nudity in it, but I guess stick figure, full frontal nudity is a different issue. Now, this is perfect for what they observed in Zagreb. You can just imagine Porky drawing this, going, well, no, that's not right. This is the best you can do. It's such a testament to, like, the struggle, you know? This is what, okay, it can do that. And you sort of run out of ideas here. He just sort of twirls the character around, puts it down, and that's no good either. So here's the Latin Quarter, the nice chorus line. Same joke, one small one in the middle of all the big ones. And now this ballet character coming up. It's amazing. Look at the attitude she has. Even when they're trying to draw badly, the characters have so much great attitude. Now, this killed in Russia, where they never make fun of ballet. It was huge, and the laughs drowned out the whole rest of the picture and the next picture besides. Now, here's the big finale, and it's with an Al Jolson and blackface stick figure, and it's cut from a lot of the studio prints, by the way. And it's a daring sort of slap in the face to both Warner's cartoons and Warner Brothers Pictures at the same time. It's talk about biting the hand that feeds you. I mean, this is the studio, after all, whose whole self-defining introduction to sound film was founded on Al Jolson and blackface and the jazz singer. And of course, Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies were founded on their literal musical synchronization. And here it's lampooned, so that every time the Jolson figure sings "In the Rain," the crowd has to scoot back at the last second to match the lyric. I like the way the raindrops are sort of bouncing off them there, too. So there are a lot of cartoons within cartoons. There's the Van Buren cartoon, Making a Move, which is a good one. And, you know, Tom and Jerry, the Hanna-Barbera Tom and Jerry cartoon designs on Jerry had its own spin on the idea. There's a Popeye where he animates his own cartoons and does sound effects to try to keep up with it. But this is in a class by itself. It addresses the whole idea of the childishness of the cartoons, and there's a partial admission of that childishness. But it's basically a greeting card to the art of animation, however puerile it may be.